Imagine a group of travelers who are taking a journey on foot. They get up early in the morning before dawn so they can beat the heat, and they head east amidst the cool and darkness of night. Just as the sun is beginning to come up over the horizon, they meet another traveler traveling in the opposite direction, traveling west. At dawn, the sun has peaked over the horizon in the east, and that first company traveling east is now reflecting the sun's dawning light on their faces. The traveler heading west asks them, "What is that light shining on your face?" And they answer, "Turn around and look. The sun is rising." This is a good picture of the missional calling of God's people. We are living in the midst of a dark world, engulfed in sin and idolatry. But the light of the resurrection life, of the new creation, has dawned in Jesus and by the Spirit. We are a people who share in that resurrection life by the Spirit and are now called to reflect that life of the new creation in the whole of our lives, showing what it means to be truly human. It should be that our unbelieving neighbors see something of that resurrection life reflected in our lives and ask, "What is the source of that new life?" And our answer is turn and look to Jesus. The resurrection life of the new creation is coming. Will you join us? Sadly, the church has not always been reflecting the life of the kingdom. We can think of Friedrich Nietzsche's strong critique of the church, in which he says, "They would have to sing better songs for me to learn to have faith in their Redeemer, and his disciples would have to look more redeemed." What might it look like to look more redeemed? Or what might the resurrection life of the new creation look like if it shines in our lives today? We live in a world consumed by the consumption of goods and experiences. This dominates the waking lives of its members. And if we are to be a redeemed community that resists these winds, we need to be a people of gratitude, a people who live with deep thanksgiving, a people who live with generosity, a radical generosity, and a contentment with what we have. We live in a world of self-centeredness, of narcissism, of entitlement. And in this context, we need, as a redeemed community, to be a people who live our lives in total self-giving and sacrificial love, following the example of Jesus Christ, who washed his disciples' feet. We also live in a culture of economic and ecological injustice. And in this dark world, a redeemed community would be a people who were committed to justice and to the stewardship of God's good creation. We live in a world of injustice, created by the idolatrous ideologies of both the right and the left. And living in a world like this, a redeemed community would be a people of biblical justice, who don't fall for the critical justice on the left or for some form of right-wing justice. Rather, we would live out a biblical justice. Each of these ideologies gives some justice, but it also perpetrates new injustices. And we need to be a people that show what a full-orbed justice looks like, a justice that arises out of Scripture. We live in a culture that is obsessed by a frantic and hedonistic pursuit of pleasure. And in a culture like that, we need to be a redeemed community that would be a people of joy and a people of contentment, a people that know how to find joy in God's creation, but who do not need to pursue it frantically in so many ways. We live in a culture that considers religion a private matter, something that is not to be brought into the public square. We can name God, but that good news will not shape anything of our culture. In that world, we need to be a people whose commitment to Christ is one who is Lord of life. He is the creator of all things, Lord of history, and Lord of human society. And we need to manifest in our lives that Jesus Christ is Lord of all of life, over every square inch and every split second. This is just a beginning. And I invite you to continue to reflect, perhaps in your small group, on other ways in which we are to live as a contrast or distinctive people. But if we were to live this kind of life before the world, we would reflect something of the resurrection life of Christ in our lives. We would look more redeemed. We would look like the new humanity amidst the death-dealing, dehumanizing idolatry of 21st century North America. We would see a people drawn to Christ and to the community of the new creation. And we would be faithful to our God-given identity and vocation in the biblical story. May God bless you. May He bless us as His people, so we might be a community who embodies the gospel more and more for the sake of the world.